You're welcome to the program. Now, Ghana's local airline industry has been booming over the past few years, with several operators running routes from Accra to major cities in Ghana. The Accra-Kumasi route has been the busiest one. The route links the administrative, diplomatic and business capitals of Ghana. A Takoradi-bound Stabo flight was forced to make an emergency landing Tuesday. 2 passengers sustained injuries to the ankle and the arm during an evacuation process. One of the passengers told Joy News that 20 minutes into the Takoradi-bound flight, the pilot told them the aircraft had developed a fault and so they had to return to the Kotoka International Airport. Let's talk about the safety of our aircraft. I'm joined over the telephone by Deputy Transport Minister Joyce Ba Mokhtari and also the CEO of Stabo Airlines, James Enchi. You're welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna start off with you, James. Give us a brief update on the people who sustained injuries.
Well, those people injured, one of them is okay at the moment. He's not in the hospital. The second person is at the moment in admission at the hospital. They are taking care of it.
You attributed the forced landing to hydraulic faults. Is that a normal thing when it comes to air flights?
Well, failures are abnormal anyway. So if something goes over, it affects some other things. And as you say, this hydraulic pumps or operation system actually operates the flaps in the landing gear and the ailerons for the aircraft. And in absence of this hydraulic pressure in the system, these items have become inoperative. But then the pilots have been trained to land the aircraft in such situations when they have these problems. We have procedures to guide us to go through and land this aircraft. And this is exactly what they did yesterday to land the aircraft.
This is not the first time Stabo is experiencing a situation with its aircraft. We remember that some time back, one of your aircrafts caught fire. It has raised concerns about the kind of aircraft that we use on the local level. What will be your reaction to that?
Okay, just a correction, further correction. The last aircraft we said we have, the aircraft did not catch fire. It was an engine problem that was contained, you know.
I see.
Yes. This time around, it's another problem, the hydraulic failure. Hydraulic failure can occur on any aircraft, as I'm saying. It's just a technical problem we had. So we have taken on these measures to bring that back into Accra.
But some travelers have raised concerns about the safety of aircrafts rather when it comes to domestic flights. You are a domestic flight operator. What will be your reaction to those concerns that people raise?
So I mean, it's on the contrary, it's not true because we do a lot of operation. We do a lot of safety checks on aircraft every day, every week, every month. We have a schedule maintenance that we do, and every morning before aircraft leaves, we look at everything, do all the checks before it leaves. So it's quite safe. Just one-off incident doesn't mean that it's not safe to fly the aircraft. But there's more hazard on the road than the air, as you can see. You know.
What sort of checks do you perform?
We do a lot of checks. This aircraft in question went to major checks last year, where they do have to strip down and check everything, make sure that all the things that are not good are replaced. The things are not going to spoil before they replace them. We replace them in terms of hours, cycles, and we do replace them accordingly, you know. And we do that every other day, every week we do checks on the aircraft. And every morning, every evening, we do checks on the aircraft.
But so if these checks are performed, couldn't we have avoided a hydraulic fault?
No, on the contrary. So this system is always, the pressure system is always sustained. It sustains the system for a long time. So if there's any rupture somewhere, you probably won't see it on the ground. Maybe it's doing somewhere on the fly where something selected, maybe it will just trigger it. So it's just unfortunate, something that, you know, 1 out of 1,000 of it that happens. It's not normal that happens. Yes.
James, I want to have you hold on here. I would have Joyce speak at this point. Joyce, you're welcome to the program once again.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. Thank you, and good afternoon to all of you.
My name is Kemini, not Beatrice. But let's just move on with the conversation. How are we ensuring that the aircraft that the domestic airline operators use are up to standard?
Well, day in, day out, we carry out the requisite checks as required by international standards. And most of these aircraft that fly this route are actually airworthy aircraft. So there's no doubt about the ability to undertake the journeys for which they are designated. And the ministry has a regulatory body known as the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, which actually has oversight responsibility for maintaining and ensuring that aircraft flying this country are actually airworthy.
But when you hear of things of the sort, not just the Starboy incidents, but comments from users of domestic airlines here in this country, do you feel these checks are being put in place? You think these checks are doing the job they are supposed to do?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to place on record that Ghana actually has a very, very good record in terms of statistics with respect to safety. Secondly, as and when these incidents occur, what it does is to call on us to actually improve upon our checks, to put in place stringent regulations to ensure that these things do not happen. And yes, I think yesterday's incident is not an exception. Unfortunate as that incident may have been, we apologize to all the passengers who were on board. The ministry has actually taken up this seriously and has actually instituted a body to investigate as soon as possible and to come up with recommendations on the way forward. Remember also that the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority is actually expected to ensure that all of these aircraft are actually airworthy, that they are undergoing requisite maintenance checks on and off. I would also want to state for this purpose that this aircraft in question actually developed the fault after it had actually taken off. And sometimes some of these things would happen that we are not able to envisage or could have foreseen from a requisite or necessary checkup. So yes, we apologize to all our passengers. The ministry is actually ensuring that better rules are put in place that in future we do not have such incidents occurring.
But in the past, we've had this occur, hoping that in the future it wouldn't repeat itself. Unfortunately, it has. My question is, who watches over the watchdog to make sure that indeed we are abiding by the standards we have set for ourselves?
I'm sure that the media is one of the bodies that would actually be watching over the watchdog. And if you talk about statistics, since 2010, we've only had 4 of such incidents. And yesterday's one will probably be the 5th in the last 5 years. This is actually testimony to the fact that we do have a very good safety record. So we're doing all in our power to avert such accidents and to ensure the safety of our passengers as a foremost responsibility of government, the ministry, and all the agencies that are involved. You know, sometimes when these things happen, despite the fact that something has occurred and that we are all very passionate about safety, we must also remember the efforts that are being made, that even more of these things are being averted because all of the necessary checks are being done to ensure that we protect our citizens. So yes, something has happened, and unfortunately as it is, it doesn't also mean that it's a reflection on the fact that nothing is being done. I believe that Starboy is a very responsible brand, a responsible company. They've been in operation for quite some time now. Yes, they have actually come under attack in recent times, and I believe that they know that it is their obligation to ensure that these things do not happen. First and foremost, it would also tarnish their brand. It would also affect their business one way or the other. As I speak to you now, the Civil Aviation Authority has actually grounded all their flights for the time being to ensure that the necessary safety checks are carried out. And I think this is the immediate reaction to yesterday's incident.
Very well. Joyce, I'm going to have you hold the line. Let's wrap up the conversation with James, and then we broaden the aircraft issue with you. James,
Yes.
the GCAA has grounded your aircrafts. How much are you losing as a result of this?
So the GCAA has asked us to do some checks on the aircraft to make sure that everything's okay, and we are doing those checks. Don't think it's going to take that long to do it.
I see. So you're expecting to fly anytime soon? How soon?
Sure. This evening we'll fly, because these checks we are doing is not any. I think we are doing the thorough checks for them to see that everything's okay with the aircraft. The aircraft that had the equipment yesterday is not flying, but they want to check the other aircraft. That's what we are doing now.
I see. So you should fly by tonight.
Yes, sure.
But tell me, where is that aircraft?
It's parked in the hangar.
What are we going to do with it? What happens to it?
Well, we're going to work on it. It's a leakage that caused it, and we are investigating the kind of leakage. That's why it came on. I will the supervision will be informed as what we do. They will come and inspect it and give us clearance. We abide by regulations, the law regulations that we need to abide by. And that's exactly what you're doing. We just don't work on it and just let it fly. No, we'll just be coming, investigate, find the causes, and maybe get the corrective measures to make sure that things are okay before we come back into the air.
But let me just ask you one last question. Doesn't Stabo find it a bit curious and uneasy, the fact that this is happening to you too many times?
Oh, it's just a Malaysian airline. Things do happen, you know. You do a flight. In fact, if you come to Stabo, the maintenance, you see what we're doing a very good job there. It's just unfortunate that this incident should happen. We take very safety measures. Engineering does everything that needs to be done. And the supervision can attest to that. They come to check us every 6 months. Every day they do the checks. If there's any meter check, they come in. We go with them to the outside when you're doing checks, for them to go and witness the work is done on the aircraft. And it's a thorough way that we do. It's just unfortunate it should happen. We apologize to our passengers for
very well.
Something that we don't anticipate to happen.
James, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much for your time. Joyce.
Yeah.
So I was reading a report which placed Ghana the 9th worst airport in the world. I don't know if you've seen the report, but I couldn't defend the report because our airport is a sad place to pass through. What would be your reaction to such a report?
Well, I'll say first and foremost that we know that our infrastructure is actually not up to scratch. But as I speak to you now, we are actually engaged in remodernizing and revamping the whole infrastructure at the airport. You would visit the airport presently and you see there's a lot of activity going on. I've also read reports about leaks in the roofing and what have you. Yes, all these things are things that are within our purview and that we are handling them accordingly. And I'm sure within the shortest possible time, we would all experience a great improvement in and around the airport here in Ghana.
When is this going to happen? I recall the President John Dramani Mahama some months back had indicated that works on the Kotoka International Airport were going to begin soon. And again, I'm hearing from you, months forward, that it's going to begin soon. When exactly can the Ghanaian people be proud of the Kotoka International Airport?
The work is actually ongoing at Kotoka International Airport, and I don't remember saying it will begin soon. I said work is actually ongoing. We are working on the terminal, we are working on the tarmac, we are actually working on expanding the facilities, we are actually upgrading the car parks, and what have you. You would want to visit Kotoka International Airport this week, and I'm sure by December, the project will be taking shape, and you would all realize that it will be a project that we have taken due care of and are ensuring that we do the best for our citizens. We want to ensure safety, we want to reduce congestion, we also want to make Ghana a gateway for the sub-region, and all efforts are being done to do just that.
Right, Joyce, let's get into the kind of works you have mentioned. You mentioned the tarmac. Exactly what work is ongoing on the tarmac?
Well, we are actually improving upon the existing tarmac. We are also working on constructing a new tarmac. So an additional runway will be constructed to bring them all into 3. We are also looking at expanding the terminal building. We're going to have a 3-floor building instead of the current one that we have. We are also expanding on the VIP facility within the airport. So yes, all of these things are currently going on. The domestic side will soon also be experiencing similar expansion work. And the work is actually ongoing. It's not about to start or it's not commencing. In fact, for the terminal buildings, we're looking at it ending and being handed back to the government as soon as December of this year.
Joyce, this question is from the best part of my heart. Is this work being covertly done, or we could actually see people at work when we visit them?
People are at work. Oh, no, I'm not. Why would I be talking about work that is being covertly or overtly done? The work is being done day in, day out. The contractors are on site. They have been mobilized and work is ongoing. And as I asked you earlier, please tour the airport for yourself. At least that way you'll be able to bring the discussion to the fore. You'll be able to alert the citizens to all that we're doing to improve upon our facilities. Yes, things are a bit tight right now because of all the construction works. Yes, we apologize for the inconvenience. But there must be some inconvenience if we want to have the requisite improvement. And that is what we're working on.
I see. So how much is this expansion costing us?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not actually sized with how much the expansion at Kotoka International in particular is costing. I know that with the expansion works at Tamale International Airport, we're looking at about $100 million United States dollars, With Kotoka, it's much higher than that. But we can always get this information out as soon as we get it from the airport company. But the work is ongoing, and when you visit there, you see that the contractor is at site and that the work is actually progressing smoothly.
Do we have the money to see through to the end for the expansion of the Kotoka International Airport?
Oh, certainly. Remember that government actually decided to give all the airport taxes to the Ghana Airport Company Limited. What this has done is that it has actually augmented the funds of the Ghana Airport Company Limited to enable them borrow to undertake this project. So they have actually done that, and currently they are funding all of their projects without any recourse to central government.
One last thing, though. Why do we not know the cost of the work that has already begun on the Kotoka International Airport?
I'm sure the Ghana Airport Company Limited knows exactly how much is involved. I personally do not have that information available to me now.
Very well.
So I can always ask them and then I'll get back to you.
Well.
I don't want to give you a figure that might be probably lower than they have or higher than they have. I have a fair idea, but I'm not sure exactly how much the full cost is.
How are we dealing with the issue of encroachers?
Well, I think that is a subject matter that has come under a lot of discussion in recent times. As I speak to you now, we've actually furnished the Ghana National Security Apparatus with all the lands that belong to the Kotoka International Airport. We're actually hoping that very soon a stakeholder engagement would happen so that we can at least take it from there. We want, remember that all of these buildings have actually involved huge investments. Secondly, the Ghana Airport Company itself would not want to court any public opprobrium because of its activities. So we want to engage all the owners of these properties which are seen as being in the line of the airport lands or in the line of the flights so that we can ensure that we are able to come to a certain reasonable agreement. In the interim, we are making sure that no new developments are taking place as a way of preserving and protecting the airport from any unnecessary encroachment.
Pleasure talking to you, Joyce. We'll leave it here.
Pleasure, sir.
Joyce Ba Mukhtar is Deputy Transport Minister.